Alright, hi guys, welcome back to Higurashi no Naku Koroni. I know it's been a while, I apologize for that. I caught a cold and since I do all the voices and whatnot, I need my voice at least mostly back. So yay, it's back. Alright, so before we get started, remember if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe if you liked it. And if you're watching on Twitch, bleh. If you're watching on Twitch, please go check out my YouTube. I have all of my stuff up on there, and I'm very proud of my channel. So, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't exactly remember what happened. I think Keiichi confronted Reina, and we found out a little bit more about Keiichi's past. So, yeah, and then Reina left. So things are going the way of the badness. So let's just continue. I'm dying for some acting, and we're getting into it now. Let's go. At lunchtime the next day, everybody in class was talking about Reina's disappearance. We were all worried about her safety, but I kept a safe distance from everybody else. I do wonder where she went. Somebody said that she was demoned away. How can they say such things? I can't believe their nerve. Keiichi, you look down today. Weep. Satoko and Rika noticed something about my attitude. Huh? I couldn't sleep at all last night because of what Reina told me. Friends don't keep secrets from one another. That sentence bit into my heart, and I couldn't sleep because of the pain. Mion, Satoko, Rika, I have something I need to talk to you about. Is it about Reina? No, it's not. It's about me. I decided to tell them because they were my friends. But I didn't know what I was expecting to change by doing so. They might despise me. Was there any benefit in telling them? No, there wasn't. I knew that for sure, but I still wanted to tell them because I thought it'd help heal the pain I was feeling. This is very true. Talking to people is the step. What's this about, Keiichi? Well, it's the truth about myself. I'd appreciate it if you just listened. It's about what happened to me before I moved here. I was kind of a guy who wasn't good at anything but studying. I learned the tricks of the game called studying at my cram school. I enjoyed the sense of superiority I felt by getting good grades. I kept studying just because I wanted to look down on the other students. When my grades got better, my parents got happier, my teachers praised me. I felt good. It was fun to look down on students who were good at running dodgeball or swimming. That was the only reason I kept studying. Before I knew it, not only was I the top of my class, I was the top of my school. Damn, boy. So I started to think I was the most important student there. I looked down on the kids who were playing in the schoolyard during lunch break. I enjoyed feeling a sense of superiority to them in my insignificance. The more I studied, the better everybody expected me to do. That's true. They started to place high hopes on me. They expected me to go to the best schools in Japan. I flattered myself in thinking I deserved to go to that school as well. But the friend went out of looking down on people, while the burden of studying didn't change a bit. My classmates stopped admiring my cleverness after a while. My teachers started to push me to study more. It sounds like what happened to Light, and then he got the death note. No. All of a sudden, the fun got out of it. To begin with, I didn't even like to study. I had average reflexes, I was average in a fight, I was average boy who really drew no attention. So when I found something that I could use to get that attention, I jumped on it. It happened to be studying for me, but if it was riding a unicycle or juggling, I would have done that too. When I realized I didn't enjoy studying anymore, it got really boring. I don't think anybody enjoys studying, let's be honest. I was just a little boy who wanted to be praised when I did something better than anybody else. I finished all my summer homework because my parents praised me for it. I took charge of cleaning duties at school because my teachers praised me for it. So when they stopped praising me, I began to feel as though my life had no meaning. My parents used to give me an allowance that was proportional to how good my grades were. So I used to get a substantial amount of money for my age. I don't know if I had a natural interest in violence or if I was just looking for it because of my frustration. I took an interest in BB guns. At first, I shot at cardboard boxes. It was fun. Being violent at pieces of cardboard relieved a lot of stress. Nobody blamed me for doing that. But soon, I wanted to do something I should never have done. On the box that my BB gun came in was a warning label that read, "Do not shoot at people." That was when I thought about doing just that. Why did I do something I shouldn't have? I guess I was just immature. I wasn't interested in studying myself anymore, but I forced myself to do so anyway. My parents forced me to go to several cram schools. I was so mad at them for that. I should have told them I didn't want to study anymore. But I didn't have the courage to do that. I mean, you can't just stop studying, unfortunately. Not at least, not until you get my age, and even now I'm still studying. But I mean, I'm studying Japanese, which is, I guess, different. So I used my frustration as an excuse to do something cowardly. I shot at kids who were younger than I was with the BB gun. It gave me such a thrill. It felt so good to do something bad when I was so overcome with studying. Needless to say, I had no personal grudge against the kids I shot. As long as the kids passed through a deserted street, they met the requirements to become my target. I didn't mean to hurt them. I shot at them once or twice from a distance. That was all I wanted to do, but sometimes they didn't react at all because the BBs hit a thicker part of their clothes or something. I didn't like that, so I started to shoot until they noticed they were being hit. It inevitably escalated to a barrage of gunfire. I study a lot. I'm doing something good. So I deserve to do something bad to balance out the good thing I'm doing, right? That was the unbelievably selfish excuse I made. I thought I had a right to do things like that because I was suffering. I thought people who weren't suffering like I was deserved to be shot at and to get hurt. I was so selfish, so arrogant, so stupid. I was disgusted with myself. If I could have met myself at that time, I would have given myself a punch in the face so hard and knock out all my teeth. I started to call it a series of attacks on school children. The principal of my school held a morning assembly to inform everybody about the case, to warn them to be careful when playing outside. I was laughing sleepily. The PTA issued a letter of warning and advice to take the safest way to and from school. Parents took turns watching kids when they walked between home and school in groups. The more serious it got, the more it reminded me of the excitement I first felt when my grades started going up. I was absorbed in the game I was playing. I didn't think I'd get caught. I didn't even think to stop doing it. One day, I found a little girl who was walking down a narrow street all alone. She was very small. I don't know if she was on her way to a friend's house or if she was running an errand. I didn't care. It was careless of her to go out alone. The school warned her not to. So it was her fault. Just like always, I made a selfish excuse and attacked her. Some of the shots hit her in the back. She noticed she was attacked by somebody. She turned around. It was a natural reaction. At that time, I didn't hesitate to rain hell upon her. So when she turned around, I was still shooting at her. Usually when I shot at a kid, she cried in pain and ran away. But this girl was different. She thrashed around in excruciating pain, holding one of her eyes. When I saw her doing that, I realized what happened right away. The BB had hit her in the eye. Until that moment, I didn't think about what would happen when a pellet that could easily go through a cardboard box hit an eyeball. Anyway, the girl howled, and for the first time I realized I did something horrible. She saw me. So I couldn't take her to a hospital. I couldn't do anything. I left her there while she was screaming. I wondered if she was okay. I worried she lost her eye. I kept thinking about her, and I didn't even feel like eating. I went to the bookshelf in our living room, snuck a medical book to my room, and studied the structure of the human eye. It was too late to make a difference, but I studied what kind of injuries would make a person lose their vision. I knew it wouldn't make the sin I committed weigh any less, even if I found out that she wouldn't lose her sight. I couldn't sleep, and I suffered from a high fever. It wasn't my parents, my teachers, or the police who first punished me for what I did. It was me. Before dawn, I woke my parents and confessed. They were shocked, but it seemed like they understood the situation due to my recent disobedient behavior and my interest in BB guns. My mom cried hysterically. My dad slapped me in the face till it swelled up. Before the sun came up, I turned myself into the police, accompanied by my parents. Satoko stared at me with a stunned expression. I deserved to receive that kind of look. What I did was so wrong, and I needed to accept it. Is that all true? Yeah, it's all true. I'm sorry I didn't tell you until now. What made you want to tell us? Mian asked me. Rika nodded in agreement. To tell you the truth, I don't understand why. Well, I know, but... No. I'm just saying I don't see any reason why you had to tell us. Oh, Mian. Well, I didn't want to keep secrets from my friends. You're my friends, so I couldn't hide it from you anymore. What are you expecting us to do? I'm not expecting anything. I just... If you're asking for forgiveness, I can't give it to you. You have to ask the kids you attacked if you want that. It won't help Benyu to tell us about it. I agree with Rika. I think you're really brave to tell us, but I don't understand what you want to do from here on out. I don't want to do anything. I just thought it's not right to keep secrets from my friends. Yeah, because they're not crazy like Reina. Like, that's something that you don't... Keiichi's trying to move on. He's trying to be the better person. He moved to the star to start a new life. You don't need to burden your friends with those things. You know? There's absolutely no reason to. And Reina was completely wrong. He wasn't keeping a secret. He was trying to start a new life. He was trying to make himself a better person. You know? My friends look annoyed at my sudden confession of my past. I took it as bitter medicine. I got what I deserved. Kei, I have a question. Why can't friends keep secrets from each other? What? I mean, that's what you're saying, but I really don't agree. I don't agree. I don't agree either. Me and Enrica obviously disagreed with my statement. Right, and that too, you don't need to tell your friends every single little fucking detail about your life. Right? I don't think it's wrong to refuse to tell people things you'd rather not. We all have lots of things we don't want to tell anyone else, like tragedies, mistakes, and other things you don't want to remember. If I had to tell someone everything to be true friends with them, I wouldn't want to have them as my friends at all. Thank you, Mion. Thank you. But... Keiichi, there's a difference between things you don't need to confess and things you have to confess. You have to confess what you did to receive forgiveness. But once you're forgiven, you don't need to keep confessing. Exactly! He already told the police, he told his parents, he told the girls, the people he shot. He already apologized. Thank you, sane group. Clay, you turned yourself into the police and they scolded you, didn't they? You atoned for your sin and you were forgiven. What more do you have to do? Exactly. Thank you, sane group. You turned yourself in and you accepted the result. You did what you had to do. It's very important you keep reminding yourself so you don't make the same mistake again. But you only have to take care of that on your own. It's not something you have to confess to everybody. That's very true. I have many embarrassing stories I'd rather not tell anyone. Satoko does have quite a lot of them. It's not only me. Rika has a heap of them too. Thank you, sane group. Satoko and Rika fooled around with each other like they always did. Mion looked at them and then looked back at me. Satoko said something very important. Did you get it? You mean the part where she has a dark past that no one needs to know about? No. The bit after that. She's saying that everybody has something they'd rather hide. Considering that nobody grows up in a sterilized room, we all learn by trial and error. That's called life, you know? You do good things and bad things in order to grow. Your goal is to become a wonderful person by the end. Everything that happens is an important experience, including both the good and bad. The same goes with everybody, with Satoko, Rika, and me. The same applies to everybody in the class. For example, me used to be a very bad girl. Well, I'm not proud of it. But shooting at people with a BB gun is like nothing compared to what I did. I used to throw bricks at people. I can't even count how many times I ended up in the cell at the police station. During the dam conflict, I was a regular there. I'm not kidding, it's true. But it happened in the past, and she doesn't have to tell you, even though she's your friend. Even though she's my friend. I made a lot of embarrassing mistakes and committed some crimes too. But I don't tell you about them because telling you wouldn't help in any way. If you feel better by telling us about your past, we'll listen. But there's no rule that says you have to tell us because we're friends. I don't want to dig up a past you don't want to talk about. That's what friends are all about, I think. Exactly. I agree with you, but... we're happy if you feel better now by telling us. We can forget about it if you want us to. We'll never change the way we see you because of this. Did you think what you did in the city has nothing to do with what you are right now? You're a precious friend to us. I actually don't want to know about your past, to be honest with you. I agree with Rika. The same thing goes the other way around. Even if you did something great in the city, but you are a nasty person here, I wouldn't care what great things you did back there. In other words, Kei, the sin you committed in the city is something that you should keep secret in your heart. You don't need to dig it back up just to tell us. I mean, you can if you want. And if anybody changed the way they saw you because of that, I'd look down on them. No matter what happened in the past, as long as you're a great person at present, you shouldn't be embarrassed, am I wrong? What's the purpose of living if we can never earn redemption? Coco used to be a big baby who couldn't do anything by herself. She regretted it deeply, and now she's a strong, independent girl. That's why I admire Satoko today. I don't care how weak she used to be. Mika! What about you, Kei? Are you gonna change the way you see me because you now know I used to be a very bad girl who was a regular at the police station? You won't, will you? I am who I am. Our friendship won't change, and we'll keep playing and laughing like we always do, right? That's what being friends is all about. What? What's going on here? Mia's trying to cheer me up. With an encouraging smile on her face, but her expression became distorted all of a sudden. Huh? Big teardrops fell from my eyes. What? Why am I crying? Let me just say this. I didn't know anything about Satoshi. Are we finally seeing another world? Because you all hid it from me. We didn't mean to hide it. You didn't tell me about the incidents that happen every year, right? That's because we didn't want to. You didn't want to scare me? Just because of that, you'd left me out? No, we didn't mean to. Mian didn't know what to say. She had tears in her eyes. This is a different timeline, isn't it? She thought she did me a favor. She didn't know why it turned out like this. She didn't want to make me scared of the village since I just moved here. What more reason did she need? I asked you before, Mian, if there was a crime at the dam construction. You told me there was none. But there was. There was a dismemberment lynch murder. You lied. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to you. I thought friends didn't hide things from each other, right? So that makes us not friends. Our friends. What are friends? What are friends to me? They were my true friends. They really cared. They were so nice. Helped me feel at home in this village. I couldn't have been happier. Everything was great, wasn't it? Kei, please don't. Mian seemed like she didn't know what to say. Her eyes looked moist. It was hard to believe she was really acting like this. It wasn't like Mian at all. I could feel her pain. She was in pain because she didn't know what I was blaming her for. She looked so sad, but I didn't notice her pain. I thought I was her friend. I didn't understand her feelings. I didn't trust her. I just used the word friends, but I didn't do anything like what friends were supposed to do. That's right, I was such a fool. Mian was Mian. She was my best friend. Why did I doubt her? Why? This is a different line. Oh my god, I'm so excited. He looks down these days. He just moved here from the city. I guess the fatigue must be setting in. He probably caught a cold as a result. I see. Then he needs to eat something nutritious. My grandma's making ohagi today. I'm gonna ask her to give me some so we can bring them to Kei. Oh my god, I was right! I told you he was hallucinating, remember? They brought him the rice balls. and he found a pin in it. I said that in my deduction video, that he was just hallucinating and thinking everyone was out to get him. That was the curse. Ah! I'm so smart. Why am I so smart? Oh, I'm so smart. I'm so excited by how smart I am. Oi, Leon, wash your hands first. Little Reina, would you like to try making one too? Wow, that looks like fun. Yes, I'd love to try. Here we go. I have a great idea. What is it? What's the little bottle? What is it? It's not fun to have only sweet Ohage, you know? Oh my god, I'm so excited because I was right. Ah, I'm so smart. I should be a detective. Only for games, not in real life. Let's put hot sauce in one of them. It'll wake them up for sure. That's right. That's what happened. They brought Ohage for me to help get better. They only tried to cheer me up. Why did I get so scared of them? Just because Mion knew I had lunch at Angel Mort, I grew terrified of her. You don't look good. Maybe you should go lie down. That's right. Maybe we should leave. They just wanted to cheer me with a joke. But because I look so serious. See you. Please get better soon. I hope we can hang out in the club together tomorrow. That was a normal way of saying goodbye. This is the one where he murdered them. I don't want you to be absent from school tomorrow, okay? I told you, I told you, I told you! By the way, if you guys are wondering, go check out my, I did a deduction video before I started the answer arcs, and it's in that. So if you go to before the Shion chapter in my YouTube Higurashi playlist, you can find it if you wanted to go check that out. First of all, have I ever visited any of my classmates who were absent with a cold? No, I haven't. I've never done such a nice thing to anybody because it's too much of a bother. But they did that for me. I understand visiting a friend in a hospital, but I just caught a cold. But they came to visit me with the Huggy so I could get better. I should have been thankful. I should have said, I'll get better soon and I'm sure I can come back tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm getting goosebumps. Hot at my itchy throat in the phone booth. I didn't notice my sin. And I died alone. Keiichi, did you notice your sin just now? It took me so long, but I noticed. I remember. Not here, but in a different world that looks just like this one. I killed my friends. Because I couldn't just... They were just trying to help me. But I didn't listen. I don't know why I didn't. I didn't care if people were staring. I just kept crying. I wanted to transmute my sin to tears in order to squeeze it out of me. But the tears that were coming from my eyes weren't my sin. They were just tears of regret for doing something irreversible. At that time, I felt something touching my head. I opened my eyes and saw Rika patting my head gently. I didn't need any comfort. I didn't deserve any comfort. But the words she spoke to me weren't ones of comfort. I forgive you, Keiichi. What? Keiichi, you noticed your sin. It's a very difficult thing to do, and not everybody can. Not everyone can understand how great you are, and hence they can't forgive you. But I can, because I know how great you are. Rika, this is a miracle. You noticed the sin you committed in another world. That's impossible to do, but you did it. That's the most unbelievable and precious of miracles that could exist. I didn't understand anything Rika was saying, but I felt like she was the only one who understood the impossible memory I had. So, you should be able to understand what Reina Ryugu is going through right now. Yes, I do. She's going through exactly the same thing I went through. She wants to trust her friends more than anything, but she can't. She's the one who's losing her mind, but she doesn't understand that, and she thinks that the world is going crazy instead. I don't know how to save her. I have no idea, because I failed. I didn't understand until I died. No, I didn't even understand until after. So how? How can I make Reina realize what I didn't, even after that? I can't save her. I can't save her. No, because I was just like her. There's nothing I can do. Calm down, Keiichi. I did fail. But that didn't mean Reina would too. There was no excuse not to save her because I thought she'd fail. After all, what did Reina do back then? I was totally going mad, but she risked her life to save me. She didn't know she was in danger, though, to be fair. In my room, in that world, I had beaten her many times with a metal bat. But she was smiling. She knew I was scared, and that's why she smiled. Beat her so many times. Her arms were broken. Her forehead was cut. I remembered. Reina didn't block her head. Even at the last moment, she opened her arms toward me like she was looking for a hug. But I still doubted her and raised it high. Reina told me then that it was okay. Please, trust me. My friend still told me to believe in her. She told me to trust her. But I still didn't. I lost it and attacked her. She was in danger. She was actually killed. But she didn't even block her head. Instead, she used her arms to reach out for me. Reina continued to say those words until the moment she died. Trust me. Please, trust me. She risked her life to save me. Until her very last moments, she kept telling me to believe in her. But I didn't listen. For so long, I truly believed that I didn't do anything wrong. I feel a little better that you've forgiven me, Rika. But I still have to atone. I'm going to do that in the same way Reina did for me. I'm going to save her. Reina risked her life to save me. She cared about me. Until her very last moments, she trusted me. She believed that her words would reach my heart, so she kept saying them. Until I cracked her skull. I don't care if I die. Reina died for me. I can die for her too. I was such a fool for failing to understand my friend's feelings. That's why I didn't understand what she was saying. But Reina might be different. This world is messed up. But it doesn't mean I can quit. Quitting is the same thing as not believing. I believe in Reina. That's why I can still make it. I can still prevent a tragedy from happening. I can change fate. We will struggle together to seize our future. Rika nodded with a very serious look on her face, and she put her hand in the pocket of her skirt. Keiichi, I won't give up either. I'm not going to lose hope in this world. I was tired from meeting with countless failures. I gave up on this world as it started to go wrong. That's why I kinda gave up on Reina last night. But I was wrong. I realized that the will to fight is such a beautiful and divine thing. And it can work miracles that can even alter the path of fate. So I'll fight with you. I'll fight again. I'll keep fighting until I reach the future. I have no idea what you two are talking about. I'm so happy, I'm so smart. It's normal you don't remember. Keiichi's special. Huh? I suppose I'm too brilliant to understand what's going on. Rika touched Satoko's forehead to hers. But please remember one day, when you're desperately driven into a corner of misfortune, please remember that he risked his life to save you. Keiichi fought for me? It's hard to believe. Isn't that right, Keiichi? Rika looked at me, smiling as if waiting for my agreement. I wasn't sure if I could risk my life for Satoko. No. I was sure I'd risk my life for her. Satoko's my friend. If anyone tried to make her unhappy, I'd beat them up without hesitation. I'd risk my life to save her. There might have even been a world like that. I nodded to Rika. Rika nodded back, looking happy. Mabara, is everything okay? She realized I finally calmed down as she asked me that. Yes, everything's okay. I'm sorry I worried you. Anyway, Mion. What? What is it? I walked towards her. Mion stepped back, not knowing what's going on. She bumped into the blackboard. What is it, Kate? You look so serious. I held Mion tightly. Oh, she's probably, like, ecstatic right now. She still didn't know what was going on, and her face turned red. Crying on her shoulder, I told her the following. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. What? What are you sorry for, Kei? This old man doesn't really get what's going on. You don't need to get anything. Just listen. I'm very sorry. And the ohage you made, they were really good. They were delicious. They cheered me up. I wanted to tell you that I would go to school the next day and the day after that. I wanted to tell you I would see you tomorrow, but I couldn't. I'm so sorry I didn't give you those words. I'll never doubt you, Mion. I'll never doubt any of my friends. Never again. So, Mion, please forgive me for what I did that day. Mion must have had no idea what I was talking about. Of course, I didn't either. I didn't understand what I was talking about. But my sin wasn't forgiven yet. I needed to confess in order to receive her forgiveness. I know you risked your life to save me, Mion. So I'll risk my life to save you when you're in some kind of trouble. I promise I will. Hey? You're making me blush. Mion's face was bright red. She didn't know what was going on. Satoko was blushing too, with a confused look on her face. But Rika and I understood everything. We weren't going to accept tragedy. We couldn't give up just because the world was going out of order. We were going to fight against fate to the very last moment. Mion fought for me. Reina fought for me. That's why I was going to fight for Reina, just like she did for me. I was going to risk my life to save her. I'm so excited! But there's still 2 more books, so I'm guessing that it doesn't work. But then he should remember going forward. Makes me want to watch Steins Gate. The summit was being held at a traditional Japanese restaurant in Shibone City. When a black car stopped in front of it, 3 burly cops got out, followed by Oishi. They were welcomed by the Sonozaki members in equally black suits. It was something you didn't see every day. Thank you for having us. We apologize for being late. I'll take you to the room. Please found me. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Every time his Australian accent is bad. There was a sign saying reserved at the entrance. Oishi and his subordinates were taken inside. They walked through the restaurant's pretentious landscape garden, and they came to a gorgeous Japanese-style entrance. A woman in a kimono was waiting in the entrance, as was Kasai. Upon seeing the police officers, they stopped chatting and bowed deeply. The woman in the kimono was Mion's mother, Akane. Nice to meet you, Miss Sonozaki. Thank you for having us today. It's a pleasure to meet with you. Thank you for coming all the way here despite your busy schedule. Not at all. I've been looking forward to the feast I'm going to have today. Kiyomizute is famous for its ground beef curd, right? Haha, I can't wait. Long time no see, Kasai. It's been forever since we last met in person. Yes, it has been a while. We're just gonna change him to British. World seems to be at war, but I'm hoping we can settle this like adults. Although we're ready for an all-out war whenever you are. No, we have no desire to fight. Neither do we. Everybody knows how things mess get when you get involved. But I'd like to avoid that as much as possible since I'm not that young anymore. Obviously, this was a meeting between people who hated each other. The tension in their words indicated that it wasn't likely to be a friendly meeting. I'll take you to the room. Please follow me. I feel bad our host is taking us to the table. Well, I know we sent you the invitation under my name, but actually today's host is the Sonozaki name family. I'm sorry for the confusion. I see. Can I go back and get my bulletproof jacket? Haha. On the other side of the door, there were several tables, and Mion was sitting at one of them. Since Mion was still young, her school uniform functioned as her formal dress. Still, it looked strange with both the police and the corps members in black suits. You must be the successor to the head of the Sonozaki family. Thank you for having us today. Thank you very much for coming. Please take a seat. Mion politely welcomed the police, undaunted even though they were older than her parents. Mion gave Kasai a look, and he tapped on the door. The waitress, who had been behind the door, started bringing out drinks. Oishi, what's going on here? I'm not sure. Well, let's enjoy the meal first. Their dried bean curd is real famous, you know. They started drinking, but the tension continued for a while. Mion made the waitress and the other members of the Sonozaki Corps leave the room, and soon only Oishi and his subordinates, Mion, Akane, and Kasai, were left in the room. Well, let's start talking about why we're here. Akane nodded and began to speak. We're having this meeting so we can resolve our misunderstandings. Such as? Kasai wanted to talk to you about Reina Ryugu for personal reasons. Therefore, this meeting is about the private circumstances between Tatsuyoshi Kasai and Reina Ryugu. The Sonozaki family has nothing to do with this. What are these private circumstances? Ryugu lives an honest life. How can she have any kind of private connection with Kasai from the Yakuza? Kasai? Yes. Allow me to explain. Kasai told the police officers that happened to meet Reina at the coffee house in Okonomiya. He explained that Reina found something he lost and that she offered to bring it back. 1 second. Alright. But for argument's sake, why don't we assume what you're telling us is true? What happened after that doesn't make any sense. I heard that you told your members to find Ryugu Reina. That's actually my fault. Reina's father was worried about hers because she didn't come home after dark, so I sent my men to ask if anyone had seen her downtown, but I made a small mistake. Wait a second. You made us come all the way here, and now you're telling us to believe this bullshit? Could it be you're making fun of us? Well, she looked a lot more like a member of the Yakuza than the real Yakuza did. Or she threatened them with a nasty smile, and it piled all the more tension onto the atmosphere in the room. Oishi, please don't. Tomogai tried to make him stand down. Officers with hot tempers pair with others who are good at calming them down, just like the Yakuza do. Oishi backed off with a grin. Tomogai took over, continuing from there. So, what are you trying to say? Do you not want us to intervene because this is a civil matter between Ryugu Reina and Tatsuyoshi Kasai? That's not going to happen. We're going to give her protection. Mion opened her mouth for the first time in a while. You need to explain to me why the police have to protect Ryugu Reina to begin with. Why? Because you guys are after her, or she answered bluntly. But Mion remained nonchalant. That must have made him all the more annoyed. What makes you think we're after her? Why don't you ask what's in your chest? You might know something. Oishi, we're here to resolve our misunderstandings. It's your choice to not listen to us, but I think it's better that you do. Oh, and what are we misunderstanding exactly? Your misunderstanding concerns the scrapbooks of Takano Mio that Ryuga is in possession of. The officer's expressions grew stern all at once. All of a sudden, she had gotten straight to the point. You want to protect Ryuga because she has the scrapbooks, isn't that right? Oishi and his subordinates glared back at her without saying a word, making it obvious that her guess was right. Kasai? Akane gave him a look and left the room. However, he shortly returned, carrying a black suitcase. Every one of those officers assumed there was a tremendous amount of money in the suitcase, and the Sonozaki family was trying to buy them off. Sai opened the suitcase and showed the contents to the police. Are these? These are Mio Takano's scrapbooks. I'm afraid we don't have the one she gave to Ryuga. This is going to be our main course for today. Do you mind if I take a look? Feel free. We can talk after you read them. I'll make my people leave if you like. Oh no, you don't have to do that. The cops produced latex gloves from their pockets, put them on, and took one of the scrapbooks out of the suitcase. There were more than 10 of them in there. We found them in Takano Mio's house in Okonomiya after she passed away. Oishi and the others desperately turned the pages of the well-thumbed scrapbooks. Are you sure these are real? Without a doubt. Oishi, if Ryuga has the other scrapbooks, that means... Maybe the one she has the same kind of stuff in them. Oishi looked stunned by the contents of the scrapbooks. He started turning the pages faster and closed the scrapbook roughly. Do all of these have the same contents as this one? Yes, they do. Feel free to take time to look at them if you're fully satisfied. The other officers also rapidly turned through the pages. They weren't reading them, just flipping through. They took one scrapbook from the suitcase after another and flipped through the pages roughly. Oishi, this is absurd. These are just crappy occult novels. This one says the netherworld collided with this world and the dead souls flowed across the gap. How are we going to use this as proof? Well, yours says something about the netherworld. Mine is about creatures from the bottom of the ocean. This one's about classified weapons of the Nazis. And this one's about the legacy of the Mu continent. That one's about Aussie, the mysterious creature in Ongafuji Swamp. We can surmise that Ryuga most likely has the scrapbook about the parasite theory we've all heard of. The police were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. The other officers were shooting glances off. And see, that's what I said before. So, Reina told Mio about what happened to her, right? So Mio specifically gave her the parasite one to, make her paranoid. They hadn't said anything to him, but they never really believed the story of the parasite, let alone the bioterrorism. But Oishi had believed it, and told him he had proof. None of the scrapbooks in front of them said anything about parasites, but it was easy to assume the contents of one scrapbook were no different in nature from the other. In other words, all of them were just crappy occult novels. Well, Oishi appeared unable to accept the fact that was facing him. But now that he's actually looking at it, it was too difficult to ignore. Takano Mio was an occult geek who had laughable ideas about the legend of Onagafuji. But Reina took them so seriously, and so had Oishi. The other officers could no longer stop themselves from laughing at the ridiculous scrapbooks. Oishi glared at them and they stopped laughing. The main reason Oishi took the story of a parasite seriously was because the Sonosaki family was apparently after Ryuga Reina for the scrapbook she had. I just have to say, one, like, why would you so easily trust an insane story like that without looking into it? Especially if you're a cop. And then if you did, wouldn't you look into Reina and find her medical history? Just saying. Plus, Takano, the owner of the scrapbooks, was killed. Because of these two reasons, he had believed in that occult B novel. Oishi was frustrated without a doubt. He had to accept that he was wrong. Oishi was eager for any information he could to help solve the series of mysterious deaths of Hinamizawa before he retired. A combination of a number of factors made Takano's ridiculous theory become highly credible to him. Let me ask you something. Why was Mio killed? We have no idea what happened to Mio and Jiro. Of course you don't. A liar doesn't call himself a liar. Come on, Oishi. Do you think we'd do such a lousy job as to let the police find the bodies? Mion wore a cold smile. She had said too much. Akane cleared her throat as if to condemn the statement, and that made Mion shut her mouth. Oishi glared at the young successor. But he knew she was right. Then why are you after Ryuga Reina? We're not. I admit it's our fault that we made it look like we were after her. For that, we apologize. The reasons which made Oishi take Reina's delusions seriously collapsed one by one. Mion and Akane looked at each other. They must have decided to let Akane speak, so she did firmly. We'd like to ask you a favor. We don't want to be involved with the police because of nonsense like this. We heard that Sankai from the police headquarters started working with the Public Safety Division. They're going to do simultaneous raids on our family using this case as an excuse, aren't they? That had been at Oishi's request. Oishi took Reina's story seriously, and he wanted to find the research facility that was developing the parasite. He was intended to use it as proof of the potential bioterrorist attack. But as he had no idea where to start looking, he tried to conduct simultaneous raids on all the facilities the Sonozaki family owned in the entire prefecture, in cooperation with the task force for gang groups from public safety. Normally, the circumstantial evidence he had wouldn't be enough to get their cooperation. In fact, public safety doubted Oishi's source because they hadn't heard of any potential terrorist attacks. They trusted their information network. But Oishi took advantage of his long career and his old friend, and he managed to get them to cooperate. Oishi's face broke out in a nervous sweat. Needless to say, he realized he was completely wrong. We caused you some trouble during the dam conflict, but the era is reaching its end, and things have changed. We're a Yakuza group that sides with the weak and crushes the strong, but we're also trying to achieve peace and stability in line with these changing times. If we get raided now, we're going to lose face. Who cares about your face? I know we'll find something within those raids. We're going to go through with them. If you find something, good for you. But if you don't, you know it'll cause a big liability issue that even you won't escape lightly, Oishi. Oh, that sounds like you really do want an all-out war, huh? If that's what you want, please carry out your job to your own satisfaction. We'll take on the challenge anytime. Sonozaki Akane didn't betray Oishi's expectations. Although her right to become successor was taken away, Akane had been through a lot more than Mion. Oishi couldn't back out now, but he knew it was a fight he probably couldn't win. Kumagai butted in and tried to calm him down. If we put a stop to the raids, what would we get in return? Mion answered this time. We'll give you these scrapbooks as proof of our friendship. I'm sure you can use them to cancel the raid attempts. These scrapbooks proved how ridiculous Takano Miyo's theory was. Takano was dead anyway. Oishi could show these people these scrapbooks and say he was fooled. He could still pretend the whole raid thing never happened. He might have to take responsibility for it, but if he didn't back off now, there'd be no doubt he'd be a hopeless mess. If he was going to back off, it was now or never. The administrative staff at his station weren't exactly fond of him. If he made such a huge mistake right before his retirement, people who'd been looking for a chance for revenge would cut his pension with glee. His pension was decided by multiplying his base salary by a certain number. If they cut his base salary, there was no way he could avoid a big reduction. Oishi. He decided to back off. It was hard for him to admit mistakes at his age. He grimaced with anger. Kuma, can you take over from here? I think I had too much to drink. I'm gonna get some fresh air on the porch. Excuse me. Oishi stood up quickly and left the room, making a lot of noise as he walked. Kasai closed the door Oishi left open. The room was filled with silence again. At that point, Kumagai opened his mouth. We understand your point. Our intention isn't to cause trouble to all the organizations you own. So I want to confirm that the police and the Sonozaki will help each other maintain the peace of this city. Therefore, we'll put off the simultaneous raids. Thank you very much. I'm sure our leader, Oryo, appreciates your concern as well. As you promised, we'll take the scrapbooks. And there are 2 more conditions. Go ahead. First, if you find the other missing scrapbook, you must bring it immediately. Second, if you find Reina, you must turn her over to us immediately as well. I'm afraid the second one is unacceptable. Reina is in a state of delusion. We'll make sure of her safety, and we'll find the best medical facility we can take her to. She has the right to receive treatment. We can't accept that either. We have the right to question her about the murder of Takano. As a material witness. Not as a... She's delusional! She is not an eligible witness. Akane whispered to Mion. Mion in turn nodded and began to speak. Very well. We'll accept the second condition, but let us add another condition on that. We are going to send her a lawyer. You will only question her in the lawyer's presence. Understood. One more thing. You aren't allowed to delay us by not sending the lawyer on purpose. We'll start questioning right after we find her. We have no problem with that, but you must contact us immediately after she's found. We will as soon as we can. Akane cut in. You have to call us before you question her. You must call us the very moment she's found. This agreement is made in good faith, founded on our mutual trust. So please do be careful not to do anything that might waste it. Understood. You have my word. We'll try to keep our promise with the best of intentions. Akane and Kumagai glared at each other for a moment. Surprisingly, Kumagai was very calm. He was always in the shadow of Oishi, who was loud and noisy, but he had as much guts as his superior did. Oishi was good at taking care of matters in a rough and threatening kind of way, but Kumagai was good at negotiations like this. The meeting ended, and the police stood up from their seats. The tension in the room had finally ceased. Kasai put the scrapbooks back in the suitcase and handed it to Kumagai. Kumagai looked at Kasai, nodded lightly, and took what was offered him. This is very expensive case made in Italy. Please take it as a souvenir from us. No, we're only supposed to take the scrapbooks. We'll return it to your office later. Thank you for your time. Please give my regards to the family head, Oryo-san. The officers left after bowing to Mion. After making sure the police had left the hallway, Mion sighed heavily and finally let go of her tension. She spread her feet to the floor, flapping the rim of her skirt. Oh man, my shoulders hurt. Why didn't you take care of this, Mom? Don't be silly. Your rank is higher than mine. Rank is everything, not age. Hey, Kasai, have a waitress bring me a beer. Oh, and can you let the grunts in and give them something cold to drink too? You want me to bring only beer? Oh, she can't drink. Bring some orange juice for her. Don't treat me like I'm a little kid. I guess my rank doesn't matter to you, huh? You'll always be a big baby to me. Anyway, your father pulled many strings for you this time. You should thank him. And you too, Kasai. You have to play it smarter when meeting with the common man. I'm a little embarrassed. By the way, I'm very impressed with Reina for making a fool out of Oishi. You have many friends with good potential. I'd like to meet her. We can go see a play together sometime. Aside, whenever you see her next time, let her know I said that. And don't tell her any more creepy stories, all right? Of course, I'm well aware of that. With that, they successfully dispelled the magical power of Takano's scrapbooks. The whole mess shouldn't grow any larger. The only remaining problem was Reina. Where could she be? Alright, I think that's it. Oh, no, not yet. Before I went to my bed, I headed to the window to close the curtain. I saw the shadow of a person near the porch. Could it be so late? Well, I didn't have to guess who. There was only one person I knew who might come see me so late. Rika? Reina. I opened the window and looked more carefully this time. I was right. It was Reina. She was just standing, still, under the light. I wondered how long she'd been there for. It didn't look like she was going to ring the doorbell. She was just standing there. She seemed to be asking herself whether to ring the doorbell or not. For how long she had been hesitating in front of my door. It looked like even standing there was giving her a hard time. She looked so tired. I ran down the stairs, put my sandals on, and rushed out of the house. Reina looked surprised to see me, even though I came out after making such a loud noise. Reina? Is that you? Reina! She looked relieved to see me for a moment, but then she glanced downward and looked sad again. How long have you been standing here? I don't know. Maybe since the sunset? Reina must have been staying somewhere outside for the last 2 days at the very least. And it wasn't like she'd been camping for fun. She'd been in a state of high tension the whole time, believing that someone was trying to kill her. Reina looked utterly exhausted. She seemed to have taken care of the deep scratch she made on her neck the other day with some large band-aids. The band-aids had cute pictures, but that only made the wounds on her neck look more painful. I saw some band-aids soaked with blood on her arms and body too, and I could tell she made them herself. She had more scars than she had last night. Anyways, let's go inside. You haven't eaten anything for 2 days, have you? When I tried to take her in the house, she refused with a vague expression on her face. It wasn't that she didn't want to go in the house. It was more like she had to refuse because she thought she didn't deserve it. I can't take it anymore. Even at this moment, the maggots are moving through my body. It is really bad. And it feels like they're about to come out from everywhere. Reina, I think you have some kind of disease. Why don't you get rest here and we'll go to the clinic first thing in the morning? He understands your situation, so he'll see you in private. No. I know it. I know exactly how Tomatake died. I'm trying not to do what he did for as long as possible. Reina believed she was given some kind of suspicious drug that made her claw her at her neck like Tomatake did. She convinced herself it was going to happen. She wouldn't hear anything else right now. But she really wanted someone to help her. She wanted help. But when someone tried to give her a hand, it looked like the hand of the devil. If this was some kind of disease, horribly depressing disease it was. I don't know how I'm going to die, but I don't think I have much time. That's not going to happen. You're a member of an unbeatable club, Reina. You're not going to die so easily. Thanks. Well, I wanted to say sorry before I die. Sorry? For what? Yesterday, I said terrible things to you and I hurt your feelings. She must be talking about last night. She trusted me, but... When Oishi told her about my past, she felt betrayed. And after that, everything I did out of goodwill seemed like the opposite to her. I know what it's like. I once felt the same way about you, Reina. Well, before I moved here, I did many horrible things too. A lot, actually. Really? I didn't know. What I did is beyond comparison. You just shot someone with a toy gun. I hit someone's head really hard with a metal baseball bat. Everybody got hurt really badly. And I also broke the windows in my school and... I know. I don't care. You did that before you moved here. That's why you stopped being Reina, Ryugu, and became Reina, right? To me, you're my best friend who's very kind, thoughtful, and fun. That's the most important thing right now. I don't care who you were before. No. I was way worse than you were. I have no right to say you're not my friend. I felt the same way. I was afraid of you because I heard about your past. Oh, you knew? Reina laughed sadly. She seemed shocked to find out I knew about her history when she thought I didn't. But I was like, so what? Huh? It doesn't matter how bad you were before you moved here. You've been through ups and downs, tears and laughter, but since you moved to Hinamizawa, you've been living a proud life. No, she murdered 2 people, but let's all forget that, shall we? The important thing is you regret what you did. That's all that matters. You've grown to be a respectable person. I don't care about your past. I should have noticed it earlier. Reina is Reina. That's why she's Reina Ryugu. I couldn't understand that simple thing when I said she wasn't Reina. You heard about my past too, right? I was pretty bad as well. I was such a brat. I regret the stupid things I did, so I thought moving here was a good opportunity for me to start over. I believe I've been the person I wanted to be since I moved to Hinamizawa. Isn't it the same with you, Reina? Why does this novel like to forget that she murdered 2 people? Like, they pretend that it's, like, not a bad thing. It doesn't matter how you lived in Ibaraki. The important thing is that you're Reina Ryugu. You want to be in Hinamizawa. So I don't care about whoever Reina was. Yeah, you're right. We can start our life over as many times as we want. We might make a lot of mistakes and hurt ourselves, but that lets us become people we want to be. You've fallen once or twice in your life, but that's life. We can't let that beat us down. We have to keep growing. So, I was such an asshole for getting scared of you because of your past. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. When you go through a lot of pain, you can be kinder to others. So I don't need to know your past, and if I knew, I shouldn't have changed the way I treated you. But we were fools. We couldn't understand that until we went through things like this ourselves. Mion knew that from the beginning. We were such fools. We hurt each other. We made each other cry. So, Reina Ryugu is and will always be my best friend forever. When you have to go through a hard time, it'll help you no matter what. Trust me on that. So, see, when Keiichi was in this state, he wasn't hearing what they were saying. He was hearing the creepy things, right? Thank you. I trust you, Keiichi. It's tragic, but what she said isn't true. She probably didn't mean to lie. But I knew she didn't trust me from the bottom of her heart. My words didn't reach her. I knew that. Because Reina kept telling me to trust her at that time. She kept saying those words, while I kept hitting her. But they still didn't reach me. I don't think I have much time left. But I'll try my best to save Hinamizawa, because wonderful people like you live here. No, Reina. I'm not going to let them take over this village. I'll fight so we can regain the peaceful days we had. I'll defeat their conspiracy. She said she trusted me, but she didn't understand anything I was saying. Even if I kept telling her the conspiracy was Takano's delusion, it wouldn't reach her. Thank you, Keiichi. Thank you for forgiving me. I do forgive you. So please forgive me what I did to you. I'm going to save Hinamizawa, I promise! So Keiichi, will you help me? I trust you. Only you, Keiichi. We can save Hinamizawa together! Reina! I knew how bad of a corner Reina was driven into. If I was her, I'd be walking around with a baseball bat thinking every single person was my enemy. Reina cared about me so much, but I saw her as my worst enemy. But Reina, you still trust me, even when you're driven into this bad of a corner. I couldn't understand what you were saying. I beat you to death while you kept telling me to trust you. But you're different. You still trust me? You are so... Oh, why are you crying? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll never betray you. I trust you, Reina. So please forgive me. I don't know what you're talking about. You've always believed in me, Keiichi. So I trust you too. I can trust you, right? You're the only one who trusts me, right? Tears fell from my eyes. I sobbed and nodded again to answer her. Tears welled in Reina's eyes too. Before I knew it, we were putting our foreheads together with tears in our eyes. Well, I found a way to end this battle. Really? Yeah. I might not stand a chance, but this is the best and only resistance I can think of. Reina, I don't know what you're going to do. But if you do that, we can regain our happy days, right? We can, can't we? We have to. Or I'm not letting you go anywhere. Don't worry, Keiichi. It's going to come from behind victory, and we'll regain our happy days for sure. I don't know what she had on her mind. It began with a delusion, and it'll end with a delusion. If I encouraged her too much, she'd twist it into an attack on her. I was like that at that time. I took Reina's goodwill as the complete opposite thing, so I stopped denying her story. This was Reina's battle. It was her lonely battle. She had to fight against her own delusion. The more we tried to help her, the more we drove her into a corner. But I would always be there for her. Whenever she needs my help, she could reach me. I wanted to let her know that, so I said just one thing. I'm on your side until the very last moment. No matter what, I'm on your side. Even if I told her to trust me, I knew she couldn't right now. I knew that, but I told her those words anyway. Even if she couldn't believe them, if she tried to smash my head in, I'd say those words. I'd keep saying them until I die. Thank you, Keiichi. Everything will be over tomorrow. We'll win for sure. And then we can play around at the club again. With everyone. Is tomorrow the day Rika's supposed to die? We'll return to our happiest times. Although she wished to regain our happy times so badly, I couldn't get rid of the darkness that controlled her mind. Oh, I have to go now. I have to get ready for tomorrow. To tell the truth, I didn't want to let her go. You should stop her. You should stop her and tie her up. I wanted to stop her even if I had to grab her arm. But I couldn't stop her like that. If I grabbed her arm, she wouldn't trust me anymore. Wait, Reina, what do you have to do to get ready for tomorrow? It's a secret. I might ask you for help later. You'll help me when I do, right? Of course. Letting her go seems like the dumbest thing ever. I nodded so strongly that she could tell I was still on her side. I understand him not wanting to grab her because he doesn't want to scare her, but he also should not let her go. She could hurt herself or someone else. But I didn't know what come from behind Victory meant at this point. The first thing I could think of was to invade the house of the Sonozaki family, which she thought was her enemy. So I called Mion to warn her after Reina left. Mion laughed bitterly and said, "Why does everybody want us to be the bad guys so much?" But she understood. It'd be easier if we really did act like the bad guys. It might be better if we tied her down and took her to a hospital. If it comes to that, I guess we have no choice, but I want to believe her. It's not about believing her, though. She has a serious illness and she needs help. Like, she really needs help. And at this point, I'm sorry to say, but that means tying her down and getting her to a hospital. I mean, who knows what her plan entails? It could be hurting people, you know? Like, she thinks aliens exist. What if she thinks everybody's an alien and she wants to poison everybody, you know? Do you get my point here? It's not a good idea to let her go. She still had the strong heart to trust me no matter how badly she'd been driven. She's not like me, so I'm sure she can defeat her delusion. It's hard for this old man to understand what you and Rika have been talking about these days. Did anything serious happen lately? You could say it happened lately in a way. It killed me on a couple days after the festival. Sorry, I'm talking crazy lately. Anyways, please don't lose confidence in Reina, alright? You know I won't. Anyone can catch a cold of the heart sometimes. Ooh, I like that saying. It just happened to Raina this time, that's all. Well, she has a relatively high fever, but I'm sure she'll get better soon, and we can laugh about it later. It's not as bad as you think, Kei. That silly Oishi admitted his mistake. He doesn't even know about you-know-what. So we'll just say Reina overreacted a little bit and this will be over. Really? You really think you could do that? Did you forget that I'm the next to the head of the Sonozaki family? I have both the skill and power to do that. No. She needs to go to a fucking hospital. I personally have a mental disorder, and when I was at my lowest of my low, I submitted myself into a hospital because I was scared of myself. Like, it was one of the worst days in my life, but after that, I started getting help, and now I'm an amazing, strong woman. And you can't just, like, wish it away. It's like having asthma or something. It's exactly the same. It's an illness. You need to take medicine for it, you know? And I really don't like the way that they're just, like, letting her go and saying that we'll just forget it happened. No, she needs mental care. She needs to be on medicine. She is the first step to getting better is admitting you have admitting you need help, right? She's nowhere near that. She's completely off the deep end. But she was shaking in fear the whole time. Hey, I'm pretty good, don't you think? Rian bragged about her achievement, laughing loudly. I could tell she was exaggerating a little. Anyway, compared to the sense of impending doom Reina seems to be feeling, the others seemed to be taking it rather easy. It was all up to Reina now. If she understood everything, she could go back to the peaceful world she wished for. We were waiting for her to reach out to us. Just like we did by the abandoned car at the garbage dump that day. Reina, I couldn't win, but I know you can. Because you're the one who told me to have faith. So I know you can win. That didn't mean that she could literally win the last battle she was talking about. But Reina would win. She'd win. And she'd regain her peaceful life. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. As someone who has suffered who does suffer a mental disease. I have, it's called borderline personality disorder. It's kind of like an anxiety disorder, but my emotions are heightened. Anyways, if you have a friend who is suffering, like Reina is suffering, they need help. And especially after Keiichi saw that she was hurting herself, that is not okay. You should not let your friends go like that. I'm not saying he should have tackled her. Maybe he could have followed her. Called somebody. Called Irie. You know? Called the police. Called Mion. And followed her to where she was going. But yeah, that is not okay. I don't know anything about delusional mental illnesses. I don't know anything about delusional and mental illnesses. I only know about my own personal experiences. And yes, it does take pretty much your own self. No one else can do it for you, right? You have to be the one to take the steps to get help. But when you're not admitting that you need help, and when you're hurting yourself, and which I was at a point in my life where I was hurting myself. And luckily, I realized and I reached out and I told my mom that I needed help, you know? And I told everybody that I needed help and I got help. Blame. Also, cautionary tale, do not just go to a regular doctor and take depression medicine because that is really bad. If you're not depressed, it'll make you depressed. I wasn't depressed. I had an anxiety and BPD mental disorder. So the depression medicine actually made me worse. Anyways, long story short, I appreciate this chapter diving into like mental illnesses and such. I do. But I don't like the way that they're handling it at all. It is so freaking dangerous for Reina at this current moment. I mean, like, it is really, really dangerous for her. Keiichi, I mean, I'm not gonna claim that I know what the best thing to do was. Yes, I agree that grabbing her probably wasn't a great idea unless he could, like, sedate her. I think what he should have done was as soon as he saw her, call Ire, right? And then keep her talking for as long as possible until he's able to get there. Because as far as she's gone right now, she needs that. And I'm pretty sure that something bad is gonna happen. And yeah, anyways, that's my spiel. So yes. Um so yeah, so thank you guys all so much for watching. I got into a little thing there. I have, since I've dealt with mental illness my whole life, and I've taken so many classes, and I'm always in therapy. Therapy's great for anybody, by the way. I just like I take stories and and works of art that deal with it very seriously. I'm a big support mental illness person, obviously. So I don't like when it is portrayed poorly. And not saying that Reina is being portrayed poorly, I'm saying that her friends are being portrayed in a way that they shouldn't be. Like, especially because Keiichi himself has been in that situation and he saw how it turned out, right? And he knows that. Anyways, that's my last spiel for you guys. So have a wonderful evening. I love you all, and I'm so excited because we're finally getting into the mystery of it, and it's more Steins Gatiness. Yay! And I really want to watch Steins Gate now. So thank you so much. I will see you later, and au revoir.